Welcome to the next lecture of electrical measurement. So till the last lecture we were discussing about the inductance measurement with the help of different bridge circuits. Now in this lecture we will talk about the measurement of capacitance by using the different bridge circuits. So two of the methods we will discuss in our lecture. One of the method is known as a de Sauty's bridge, and the second one is the shearing bridge, which is the most common type of method which is used for the measurement of capacitance. Okay, so let us start with the first one, that is de Sauty's bridge. So this is the circuit arrangement which is used uh, in this method for determining the capacitance, and it is, you can say, a simple method of comparing the two capacitances. So this is the unknown capacitor, this C1, this is the unknown capacitor whose capacitance is to be measured. Okay, unknown capacitor whose value is to be measured, and this is a standard capacitor which is shown here as C2. So this is a standard capacitor. Okay, and these R3 and R4, these are some fixed values of resistance. This is its phasor diagram which can just be obtained by the analysis of this circuit. Okay, now we directly move on to the balance conditions of this bridge. So at balance, one upon j omega c1 times r4 will be equal to 1 upon j omega c2 multiplied by r3. So this will be r3. Okay, so from here you obtain the value of c2 as c2 r4 over r3. Okay, so this is the unknown capacitance which is measured in terms of the other known parameters in the circuit. Okay, so this C2 is a standard capacitor, and these R3 and R4 represent the resistive arms. So just by varying these resistances, that is R3 and R4, we can obtain the balance condition of the bridge. Okay, that is we can obtain the null deflection in the detector which is present in the middle arm. Okay, so at that balance condition, whatever be the value of these resistances, so with the help of those values you can obtain the value of the unknown capacitance. Okay, so this is, you can say, is its advantage of this bridge, that is its simplicity to obtain the unknown value of the capacitor. Okay, but there is also one condition, that the capacitors which are used in the circuit, they must be lossless. Okay, that is, there should not be any dielectric loss which is present in the capacitor. Okay, so this is also one point, that the capacitors should be lossless, that is, there should be no dielectric loss which is present in the capacitors. Now for capacitors which includes some dielectric losses. So for those kind of capacitors we generally use this method, which is known as the shearing bridge, or in any way that is this shearing bridge is the most common, you can say, method for measuring the capacitance. Okay, so this is the most common method of capacitance measurement. Okay, so again the circuit arrangement is being shown here. This is the circuit diagram. Okay, and this is the phasor diagram. So this is the circuit arrangement of shearing bridge, and this is the phasor diagram of the shearing bridge. Okay, now in this circuit arrangement, again this C1 will remain the unknown capacitor whose capacitance is to be determined, and this small r1 which you are seeing here in its series connection, this is a series resistance which is representing the loss present in this capacitor C1. Okay, so this is you can say that it is the loss component of this capacitor C1. This C2 will again be a standard capacitor, its value will be fixed. Okay, this R3 is a fixed resistance, non-inductive. C4 is a variable capacitor, and R4 is also a variable resistance which is being connected in parallel with this variable capacitor. Okay, so these are the four different arms of this circuit. So again if you just go for obtaining the balance equations, so that will be obtained by using the simple analysis as we had discussed for the other bridge circuits as well. So balance condition, you already know that it requires that the sum of the phase angles of this these arms 1 and 4, it should equal the sum of the phase angles of the arms 2 and 3. So since the standard capacitor is present in this branch, that is the arm 2 which you are seeing here, the standard capacitance is being connected here. So sum of the phase angles of arms 2 and 3 will be 90 degree. Okay, so in order to obtain the 90 degree phase angles which is needed for the balance, the sum of the angles of arm 1 and 4 must also equal 90 degree. Okay, so since in general measurement work the unknown will have a phase angle smaller than 90 degrees, so we just can it is necessary, you say, that to give the arm 4 a small capacitive angle by connecting this capacitor C4 in parallel with the resistance R4. Okay, so if we just go for obtaining the balance equations, let us try to write that. So at balance equations will be at balance this R1 plus 1 upon j omega C1, okay, will be equal to R4 over 1 plus j omega C4 R4 equals to 1 upon j omega C2 times R3. So that is nothing but the product of Z1 Z4 equals to the product of Z2 and Z3. So you try to simplify these equations. So R1 plus 1 upon j omega C1 will be equal to R3 over j omega C2 multiplied by 1 plus j omega C4 times R4 or from here R1 R4 minus J times R4 by omega C1 will be equal to minus J times R3 over omega C2 plus R3 R4 C4 over C2. So from here, if you again just equate the different real and imaginary terms in this, so equating real and imaginary parts, so what should you get is R1 equals to R3 C4 over C2 and C1 will be equal to C2 times R4 over R3. So this C1 is the unknown value of the capacitance, and this R1, which was the loss component which is present in this capacitor whose value is to be measured, so this R1 is representing that value. So both these parameters will come just by solving these balance equations. Okay, so these are the value of unknown. So if you know these different values, that is C2 C4, okay, so you can get these unknown values. The dissipation factor you can also calculate. Dissipation factor, which can be represented by this D, so this should be equal to omega C1 R1. So this will be small r1 because we have represented that loss component by small r1. So this is actually due to the loss component which is present in this capacitor, unknown capacitor. Okay, so one more thing which you can see from here, that we have also defined the Q factor to be the ratio of 1 over omega C1 R1. So this dissipation factor can just be the reciprocal of this Q factor. So therefore what we can say, that the values of the unknown capacitance, that is C1, and its dissipation factor, they are obtained from the values of those bridge elements at balance conditions. Okay, so this was our objective, that is to find the value of the unknown capacitance along with the dissipation factor. So we are also getting these two things, okay, from this shearing bridge. So shearing bridge is actually, as I told in the beginning, that it's the most common, you can say most popular form of the bridge circuits that are used in the measurement of capacitances, although there can be other methods as well, but most commonly this method is used. So now, after discussing these bridge circuits for the measurement of capacitance, we have completed the different bridge circuits for the measurement of different parameters. Okay, so we had seen that for measurement of resistance we discussed the conventional Wheatstone bridge, and along with it we discussed the Kelvin's double bridge as well. Okay. Similarly, for inductance measurement, we discussed the Maxwell's bridge, that was Maxwell's inductance or Maxwell's inductance capacitance bridge, the two different forms we had discussed, and along with it we also discussed the Anderson's bridge and Hayes bridge was also discussed for the measurement of inductance, and lastly for capacitance measurement we discussed the shearing bridge and the Shorty's bridge. Okay, so these are some of the bridge circuits which may be used for the measurement of different parameters like resistance, inductance and capacitance, although there can be certain other circuits that may be possible also, but most of the times these circuits are commonly used. Okay, so with this much we stop today. This was all we have to discuss in this lecture. Thank you very much.